Good morning, St. Louis. It is 7 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, so y'all know what time it is. It's time for the St. Louis Hustle Podcast with your boy Cortez Hustle, my girl Michelle. Hey,
Hey,
and we are talking to a couple of dynamic entrepreneurs about the STL nightlife, right? And not just in the hanging out of the nightlife, but the opportunities that lies within the nightlife for us to create jobs one for another, opportunities for us to be owners and not just purveyors of this nightlife here in the St. Louis metro area. So I'm super excited to have Brother Eric Walls hop on with us a little bit later. So buckle up and hold on tight, man, because this is a conversation that I'm excited about having, because one of the things that I struggle to understand about us is that we spend all the money in the nightlife, we spend all the
mhm,
money in the entertainment world, but we own very little of it.
yep.
So we're going to change that dynamic, and brother's going to show us what they're doing and what they're doing well, and how you could model some of the things that they're doing too. So do me a huge favor. Comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and or your brand, and smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen. And let's kick it this morning.
Growing up in St. Louis has never been easy, and most say if you want to succeed here, that you must leave and put down roots somewhere else because of the strong crabs in a barrel mentality here.
I don't know if I'm just an optimistic person, but to see people like Chuck Berry and Nelly make it in the music industry, or the Roberts brothers and Dave Stewart in business, or William Lacey Clay Jr. in politics, can we blame the city, or is it that people just aren't hungry enough?
We're talking to all of the movers and shakers in this town, from entertainers to politicians, social activists and organizers, and of course, entrepreneurs.
Is there a curse on this city that holds people back? Is there an unseen hand that decides who makes it and who doesn't? You're about to find out.
Welcome to St. Louis Hustle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the St. Louis Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. That's my girl, Michelle. Hey, and we are coming to you live and direct from the Black Bear Success Mastermind Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you're not familiar with the Black Bear Success Mastermind, it is what it says it is. It's a mastermind for Black entrepreneurs who want to grow and scale their business. We literally provide hundreds of dollars of free tools, tips, training, resources for Black entrepreneurs to either start a business, grow an existing business, or if you just love to network and connect with Black entrepreneurs, then text the keyword mastermind to 314-866-4053 to get your special invitation. Again, text mastermind to 314-866-4053, and we will get you in, and you will be amazed at all that we give for free. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 100% free to help you grow your business, because we're on a mission over here to help Black people become the #1 employers of Black people in the next 2 generations. So we got to help you with your business, and that's what it's all about. Shelly,
Woo! Man, my weekend was great. Super excited. So much going on in my life in St. Louis and in the world. Right, so much going on, and so I don't even know where to start. My weekend, was okay. I worked this weekend, so some of you know, many of you know, I got a new job working for Influence Church with their food ministry, because Shelly loved people, Shelly loved kids, and so we're out in the community every week feeding children 18 and under, making sure that they get what they need. And so this weekend I had an opportunity to go over to, we partnered with a different church on the south side, and man, they got some honest folks on the south side. Bless their hearts. We was feeding kids. Adults was coming through the line like, I ain't got no kids, but I'm still here. This for children. I'm not a child, but I'm still here. So it was really refreshing that they were so honest, and amazing when you tell people you gotta have kids to get the food. They go buy some kids. It's okay. They go buy some kids. So it's 2 situations. You go dig up some kids.
It is that time of year, Michelle, where kids show up in your life. It's that time of year, right?
I was gonna say that two times a year. You go find some kids. Tax season, and when you need some food. I'll be hold on. I'll be right back. But it was a great experience. Shout out to Universal Church on the south side. I connected with an awesome pastor over on that side, young Hispanic pastor, and I want to call his name is either Danny or Michael, and forgive me, I don't remember which one. But he was just he couldn't have been 30. He couldn't have been 30, but man, when I tell you this dude was on fire, it was just a really, really cool thing to see. I'm sorry, on fire for the Lord. Be like, he was on fire, and that was a cool thing to say. What is wrong with her? No, but it was a great time. It was a great time. So yeah, that's what made my weekend. When I can get in the community and just be with the people, that is everything for me. So and then I didn't want to stay on this too much, but some people got into it with some other people over in Russia in the Ukraine area, and just gosh, another war. And it's just kind of like, I feel like this about the war. I feel like Russia been waiting. You know what I'm saying? Russia is, if you associate it to like being on the playground, Russia's that kid, is the hater. They see everybody chilling, but they just ready to kick up some dust. But they gotta pick the right opponent. They'll fool with us a little bit, but not all the way, right? So they went and picked on a lesser opponent. Oh, we're gonna go over here and pick this fight. And just like the country that we are, the United States, we stepped up like the big brother or the big cousin on the playground. It's like, I know I ain't in this. But you ain't gonna pick on my little cousin right there. You're not gonna do that because I'm finna go get my other cousins and we finna get on your head. Right. And it's kind of the state that we're in. So just a lot of perplexing thoughts about that this weekend. But all in all was good. You know, all in all was good.
Thoughts and prayers out to everybody.
Absolutely.
You know, it's war is never good, man.
No, absolutely not.
Unless you make warships, then war is good. That's a whole other conversation for a different time. My weekend was good, man. I was in Kansas City, got to see my son play. They had senior day. Now, my son is not a senior, but one of the best players on the team is a senior. And they played one of the top teams in their conference. Awesome. And they won. They were not expecting. They broke a 8-game losing streak against one of the top teams in the conference. Nice. And they were not expected to do that. And that player who is a senior, their top guy, he ended up scoring 30 points, which was an amazing. They went into halftime down 13 points. And really? He refused to lose on his home court, his last home game of his season. But then they played the team again in the conference championship just last night, and they got jumped on pretty bad.
It was like one of the things be like, what happened? I don't know.
They wasn't supposed to win on Saturday. And because of that win on Saturday, that put them in position to have to play this team as in the first round of the playoffs. If they would have lost, they wouldn't have went and played somebody else. But because they won, they had to play them again. Right. Those jokers was in full get back mode. Like, no.
They're like, we want our league back. We want our league back. That was LL Cool J. Don't call it a comeback. That was
So it was one of those deals, but super proud of the kid. He wrapped up the season. And like I said, this is a Division II school. He walked on, started all but 2 games since he was eligible to play this January. So I can't wait to see what he does, next year with a full season and
that's cool.
All of that kind of stuff. So it's going to be amazing to watch. They got some good pieces coming back to their team next year as well. So super excited about that. But even more excited about our conversation that we're going to have. So I'm going to let you introduce our guest, man, and let's get ready to have this conversation.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm super excited to have this gentleman on. He is the co-owner of one of the newest, most, as my kids would say, newest, most poppin'est joints in St. Louis. Mr. Eric Walls from the Sip Spot is joining us today. Welcome. Well, we're going to get him on. There he is. Welcome to the show, Eric. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, brother. Super excited to have this conversation, man. As I led off in the intro, like I know that we have a whole lot of history with being the entertainment, investing our hard-earned dollars in the entertainment, but owning very little of said entertainment. So we're going to get all the way into that. But every episode of the StLouis Hustle Podcast, Michelle hits us with a word of the day. So before we allow you to introduce yourself and tell everybody who they are, let's get with Michelle's boyfriend and have him introduce for the word of the day. So
where he at?
And now the Michelle I. Word of the day.
Thank you, Aussie. I had to get my boyfriend from down under. Okay. So the word of the day, I'm so excited, right? So you guys, you hung in there with me the last month. I covered a different topic. We talked about strongholds, how to identify them, how to break them, etc. I follow my online mentor and pastor Darius Daniels. We switched up the conversation, and even though we're not quite in February anymore, we're gonna talk about love. And I'm so over the moon and excited for this next month to kind of just share a little bits and pieces of what I'm learning with you guys, because I think it's such good stuff. So what is love, right? In order to discover what love is, you got to talk about sometimes what love is not, right? Sometimes we get it twisted. We confuse love with like. We confuse love with lust. We confuse love with a whole lot of things, right? So I'm gonna start us off real easy. I'm gonna just give you some different types of loves. Okay, there's a brotherly love, which in the Bible is related to phileo love, is what that is. Philadelphia, phileo, get it? I ain't know it. I learned something. Okay, so brotherly love. Then we have storge love, which is like a family love from your mom to your pops, or from your mom and pops to your children, or sibling love. Then there's eros love. That's the erotic love. Ugh. I ain't gonna touch that, but that's husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend. That's nasty. Stop it. And then lastly, there's agape love. That's that God kind of love. Now, what I did learn is that regardless of what kind of love you may be in, because agape love it's the way that God loves us. It's unconditional. Agape love it's the kind of love that should be underlying, whether it is brotherly love, sibling love, or romantic love. That agape love should really kind of be the foundation for any kind of love that you have. So give that some thought. If you are romantically in love with someone, it should be unconditional. Your siblings, if you love your siblings, it should be unconditional. So just think about that throughout your day and challenge yourself. What kind of love are you in? And do you have agape love running underneath? If you get mad at folks for the things that they do and you turn your love on and off, you might not be in the kind of love that you think you're in. So think about it. I'll be back at you next week with some more information about love, because we're gonna get this thing together. We're gonna figure out how to love somebody in St. Louis. So I'm Michelle A, and that's your Michelle A word of the day, people. That is.
Boom. That is the word of the day, brought to you by our good friends over at Open Arms Wellness. And if you, ladies and gentlemen, are a certified licensed clinician and you're looking for work, listen to this word from our sponsor.
Open Arms Wellness knows all too well that burnout is real while caring for others. That's why we offer 30% more pay, flexibility, and control over your own schedule than agency work does. From marketing to scheduling, credentialing, and billing, we've got you covered. So you have the energy to provide top quality care to your clients. Open Arms Wellness is community-centered to help you develop your career with educational stipends, medical, dental, and vision, and a 401k. Call Open Arms Wellness today. 314-329-4326.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the St. Louis Hustle Podcast. I'm Cortez Hustle. That's Michelle A. And we've got my brother, Mr. Eric E. Walls, with us today, co-owner of the Sip Spot. Eric, we ask everybody who comes on the Cortez Hustle show this very question, and you don't get to escape it, my friend. So we're going to ask it to you. And the question is this: who the heck are you?
That's a simple question right there. Eric Walls. I mean, just a normal guy who want to make money, try to do it the right way, try to enjoy life. It's short, so try to do the best I can while I'm here.
Love it, love it, love it. Simple. All right, so let's talk about your upbringing, man. Born and raised in the Lou?
No, born and raised in Southern Illinois,
Okay.
a little small town called Centralia.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. That's all right.
They have black people there?
Yeah, a lot of black folks there.
Ooh,
yeah, okay. A lot of black folks. And I love Illinois. I know I'm a diehard Cub fan. I will admit it, and I'm a diehard Bulls. bears, everything. Yeah.
Oh Lord, I didn't know we were sleeping with the enemy. I'm so sorry. Oh Lord.
Yes, Michelle, we're gonna have a talk after this.
Dang it.
So yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So in your coming up, we like to really get the origin story of our guest. So Centralia, what was life like for young Eric? Let's go elementary, then middle, then high school.
Oh boy. All right. So let's see. I was quiet kid, shy, very shy actually. Growing up, that was back when I'll be sure was the color to be. So so being dark skinned, I didn't get a lot of play with everything. So it was I'm not saying it was hard, but it was me growing up. I was an athlete as well. I was always active, wanting to, always playing sports and everything like that. And that got me out of my shell a little bit more, playing sports. I would literally stand and want to play the sport and sit on the sideline and just stare because I was too afraid to say next. I would next on the playground, stuff like that. But what I did learn is to learn how to just get outside of myself and just being able to speak and talk up and say a lot of different things for myself. By the time I got to high school, I tell anybody who will listen that I didn't hit my peak until like my junior year when, I started growing a little bit, starting to fill out a little bit and whatnot.
Wesley Snipes was on the scene.
Yeah. Wesley and New Jack City came on, so things got a lot better for me. So yeah.
Hey,
the girls was like,
chocolate ain't so bad.
Right, exactly. It was
the ladies was like, oh.
That's right. It was almost the darker you are, the better it was. I was like, okay, I can handle that because I'm in the sun all the time. So.
Awesome.
Love it.
Awesome.
But then my story gets really interesting. So I grew up, like I said, played the traditional sports, run around playing football, basketball, track. And it wasn't until I got to college that my roommate was a baseball player. And I ended up practicing with the team, working out with the team, and ended up walking on the baseball team. Never played baseball before except T-ball. And my second year of college, I got drafted by the Kansas City Royals.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, played 4 years with them. Moved to Florida for a year. That was like the first time really being away from my parents. And I go down to Florida after I signed and everything. I get down there. I'm like, by myself, don't know anybody, no family down there. So I'm down there. And of course, you know how we are. We gravitate to what we're used to. So I seen other black folks. So I said, hey, what's up, man? Walked up to them and they turned around, started talking Spanish to me because they were Dominican. So I was like, I said, okay. I called my parents. I said, hey, Mom, hey, I got to come back. These black folks down here don't talk right. So
there's something wrong with them.
Right. So, mom is always like, yeah, oh, baby, it's going to be okay. It's good. All right. My dad gets on the phone and said, boy, you're not coming back, and hung up the phone. I was like, what the heck? What's that? So
no, me and mama chilling. No, you gonna stay down.
Right. You gone. The house empty now. Gone.
Right.
So, right.
Sugar,
So,
let me talk to him, Sugar. Hey, about you coming back. Right. So yeah. So but yeah, it was good though. It was good to be out on that island by myself. And nice. I had to learn a few things and understand a lot of different things. So,
nice.
Yeah, I can imagine the cultural shock of someone who is shy and reserved and not, because it doesn't sound like you have really mastered the art of networking and getting around new people and figuring that thing out outside of teammates and stuff. And that's what you got to do when you're in a new world, new city. It's like, man, I got to find somebody that's going to show me around. I got to find somebody, and really immerse myself in this culture. And add on top of that, it's a melting pot in Florida, right? You got your Dominicans, you got your Cubans, you got your Puerto Ricans, you got your traditional Black folks, white folks, and it's like, I got to find out where I fit in amongst all of this stuff, being from a small town in, Illinois. So I know Michelle got a couple questions for you as well.
I was just gonna say, I was just really gonna laugh at you some more. That's really what I was gonna do. Look like your daddy pushed you in the 6 feet part of the pool. Like, can I come home? Move a little bit to your left. Poof, into that. But look at how it made you flourish, right? So when you were still playing ball, you were still trying to fit into this new city. How did that transformation? What led you back to St. Louis, and then what made you want to get into, I guess, the bar business or the entertainment business? What was that turning point for you?
So after baseball ended, basically I had in my contract that they would pay for the rest of my school. So went back to school, got my degree and everything. And then job opportunities brought me to St. Louis, because I did. So there was two things. I was going to move to Chicago. Of course, I love, but I got up there. Yeah, I got up there, and right when I was about to graduate, I had a job interview up there and drove up and had the interview, killed it. And when I was leaving, I got stuck in traffic, and they called me while I was on the road. And I was like, well, I said, is traffic like this all the time up here? And they was like, well, yeah, you can take the train in, you can do this and that. And I was like, yeah, I can't do this. And I turned that job down. So when I got back, I got another job opportunity down in the St. Louis area. So I ended up taking a job down here. I had a brother down here in this area at that point in time. So I was like, okay, it kind of makes sense just to be in the area. So I came down here, and then, St. Louis to me is one of those places that either you got to let it grow on you. You can't just walk in and say, hey, I love this city. You got to get in and understand the culture and everything else. Cause I didn't understand why is everybody asking me what high school I went to. What college? I mean, I could give you.
That is exactly what high school and what church. I'm from Los Angeles. So when I moved here, I was just entering high school, but it was a thing after I graduated. That's what people want to know. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, we have to grow.
Because that's the easiest way to trace your roots, because we all got people at these different schools. So if you say you went to Beaumont, oh yeah, I got two cousins and a friend over at Beaumont. I'm gonna ask them if they know this joker. Right. That's how we fact check. That's how we do background checks. So because we know somebody at every school, and if you say you from a particular school and you're lying, we gonna know. We gonna know.
You know what? I'm from the county. He from a different place. I ain't fact checking nothing. You say you from Beaumont, don't lay your purse down, don't leave your wallet open. Check, hey, that you gotta watch. Keep one eye open. But I'm from the county. Nah.
But you sound like you kind of like me, man, when it comes to decision making. I moved from St. Louis to Mississippi on a similar situation, because like I just be looking for signs. Like you said you was in traffic and you're like, nah, I ain't gonna do this. Well, I just had to move to Mississippi based on whether OJ was guilty or not. So, hey, if he's not guilty, I'm going. If he's guilty, that means I must be meant to stay here. And Johnny Cotton said, if the glove don't fit, you must have quit. And it was like, not guilty. I fired up my little 85 Subaru with no muffler, and that mug was loud as all get out. And I drove to Tupelo, Mississippi, got lost 2 times. But it was cool that you kind of realized that you're like, man, you know what? I can't deal with, I'm not going to get in the train every day, and I'm not going to get stuck in this traffic every day. So I got to make a different move. So Michelle was asking, as you kind of move through that life, that's what got you back to St. Louis. But was entrepreneurship always in you? Did you have examples of entrepreneurs in your family, people who ran and owned businesses, or was that something that you just kind of, morphed into as you entered adulthood?
No, it was in my family, my dad especially, because my dad always said you got to have 2 sources of income, if not more. So when I was growing up, see, this is how, when I said I came into my own in my senior year. So growing up, my parents bought houses and fixed them up, rented them out. So that was that second source of income. But the other thing that they bought was this 2-story apartment. So when I got to be 17, it was time for me to move out into that apartment to kind of grow a little bit more. So like I said, when you're 17 in high school and you got a place and you can party all, oh my goodness.
That's how you became popular.
Yeah, I became real popular. So, and plus I love music too. So I had all the cassette tapes. So that aged me a little bit there. So I had all the cassette tapes that came out, the singles, all that type of stuff. So I had it was in the back lot, so nobody could, didn't interrupt with the neighbors. So it was the party spot, And then one of my best friends lived downstairs. So, hey.
Oh, man.
I'm just kidding.
Listen, there is no faster way to become the man in high school than to have your own place and have your own car. You killing it, bro. You don't need to be light skinned. You got your own place.
Right.
Okay, Wesley Snipes, for real.
And you got all the jams on deck too. So like it's literally a party every night. And I'm quite sure some of those cassettes came up missing too, because you had a lot of traffic coming in and out there. How do you protect your music, man?
Right. Yeah. You got to say you got some of them. You gotta watch them when they come in. Got to pat them down when they leave. Stop that type stuff. So.
Right.
Hilarious. That's funny. That's funny. So the entrepreneurial spirit was in you, right? And so you knew that coming up. Let's talk about a little bit about your business partner, who I'm gonna paint you when I see him. I'm gonna say it on camera, so when I walk up on you and paint you, Maurice, you ain't gonna be like, "What you pinched me for?" I'm gonna paint you real good. So, so talk about how you met Maurice, and then how the Sip Spot came to be.
All right. So it wasn't like an overnight thing. So I know Maurice for about 20 plus years. So when I first came down to this area, of course, I played baseball. So I met a guy at work that played baseball. And they would go hang out at this bar called Cougars at the time, back in the day. So everybody has been through there at least once. And Maurice was, I knew Sean. I got to meet Sean and knew Sean, and then I met Maurice, and so me and Maurice, I go in there regardless of how busy it was or whatever, and that was my spot. I still go to what it's called now because I just like the
what's it called now?
The courtyard. It's like I like the corner bar feel about it. So, but me and Maurice talked, and we've been back and forth like, man, we should do something. Because that I was doing businesses with other stuff and, had some issues there with some other people, partners and everything like that. But so me and Reese, we were just talking, after he left and it changed from the Cougars to something else, we still stayed in touch. It's like, hey, man, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? So we started looking for spots, and really probably the last 2 years right before COVID, we got real serious about trying to find a good location, trying to get everything ducks in a row, trying to get the numbers right. How much are we going to need to do this, that type of thing. So, and then finally this spot kind of fell in our laps. It was closed for like 2 years. Before that, I would go there for lunch when it was called Aftershocks before. So I would go there for lunch and got to know the guy who ran the bar then. And I was like, oh, this is not a bad spot. But he closed at 8:00. And I'm like, wow, okay. You can't really have a happy hour. You can't, by the time you start to enjoy yourself.
For nightlife. What was
right. It's time to go.
Like, I kind of feel like he ran his business like my life is running now. Like I'm literally out of gas at 7:00. My wife and I are in bed at about 8:00. We're getting old. So was he an older guy? How do you close a after hour spot at 8:00 p.m.?
Yeah. So, and that was the whole thing. And I was like, man, how do you make money here? But this guy, he has another bar out in Wentzville, stuff like that. So he, and after talking to him, and then I understand why he closed it and everything. And I was like, well, he's like, well, I said, what are you going to do with the place? You're just going to leave it closed? He's like, what, do you want to buy it? Just threw it out there like that. And I was like, hold on for a second. Let me call Reese. Let's see if this is something that we can make work. And I said, and I got back with him. I was like, well, can you meet us there and show us the place and everything? I'm gonna show my business partner. And he was like, oh yeah, I could be down there today if y'all ready.
Right.
I mean, this guy was motivated to pass this on. So I called Reese. Reese was like, yeah, I'll be there. I'm there. So we got there, and I was still hesitant. I was really hesitant because I was like, the location, trying to get us to come to a place that's kind of in the middle of nowhere is, we're kind of scary at times. So if it's out in the middle of somewhere they're not used to being, we're not going to go. So I talked to Reese, and Reese walked in, and like within 5-10 minutes, he was like, this is it. This is the spot. I was like, man, no, don't get excited. I mean, let's make sure, man. I said, I don't want to open. And then our goal was never to open a 2-year bar. So you know what that is, right? A 2-year bar is basically you just opening the doors, and all you're going to do is just make money for those 2 years and close the doors. We're not a 2-year bar. We're not trying to be a 2-year bar.
Absolutely.
So that's how the sip spot came about. I mean, and that's how we got into the building and everything else. And we had to do a lot of cleaning, fixing, replacing, everything. It was not in good shape at all. So anybody that's trying to open a bar or whatever else or a business, it's not cheap in the beginning. So
you know what, I'll say this. So I connected with Maurice, and I were Facebook friends, and I small factoid. When I was doing secular comedy, I used to do there was a guy that he's in Atlanta now, but J. Lee Thomas, he was doing a comedy show weekly at Cougars, and I had a show weekly at the old T. Billy Buffett's, and J. Lee had gotten into a really, really bad car accident, and this is early 2000s, and that's how I came to know Maurice and Sip Spot and all of that, because when J. Lee was in this accident, he asked me to take over his show. Back then, that was the thing to do. I don't know if comedians do it so much now, but that was the thing to do. You need your own room. And J. Lee was a good friend of mine, and he was like, man, can you just run my room? I don't want anybody to come and take it. I trust you. And so I took over running 2 shows at that time, and I ran his room for about 6 weeks. And that's how I kind of got familiar and just really, I guess, to know some of the Cougar staff, etc. So it's just from doing that show in there every week. And
you got to know some of the Cougars, Michelle.
They could have raised me. I don't know.
That explains a lot.
You know what?
When it comes to what's going on in your life, that explains it. She wasn't raised by wolves. She was raised by Cougars.
There it is.
That's a whole thing right there. Got it.
You know what?
I understand you now, Michelle.
I'm gonna deal with you later, sir. So we connected. I was on Facebook, and I saw Maurice was talking about, hey, he had a new spot. And at that time, my oldest daughter, she has an entrepreneurial spirit like her mama, and she was a at-home bartender. My daughter was serving drinks out the crib. Don't know if that's legal or not. Probably
ain't got license to first.
But she was killing the game from her apartment, weekly. And so she wanted to open up her own establishment. And it just really seemed so fitting. It was a new spot. It hadn't opened yet. And so I just reached out to Maurice. I connected the 2 of them, and we actually went down to the Sip Spot. And I thought the same thing you thought. I was like, ooh, who finna buy this place in the middle of nowhere? And when we, I think you guys were just, you guys were doing light fixtures or something, but we had an opportunity to sit and really talk with Maurice and just his heart for customer service, and just his heart for he was raised in that business, and so that is kind of where I came into the mix of knowing Maurice and bringing y'all one of the best servers ever. You're welcome. You ain't got to take me. Child, you're welcome, because she get it from her mama. Okay. But yeah, let's talk about, you talked about location, and that, like I said, I agree. I was like, man, this location. But when I've come to, every time, you guys have been open for what, a few months now?
Yeah. Yeah, a few months.
Yeah, every time I come on the scene, I haven't seen, because a lot of times I drop my daughter at work. Sugar, get your car life together. Every time I drop her at work, you guys are packed. I don't care what time of the day. You guys are packed, and so you're getting that recipe right. Let's talk about the way that you guys do business. You guys have unique roles. You talked about the 2-year bar life. That's a big thing in St. Louis. People open it, this life, right? So if this is your first time owning the bar, you'd have been to bars, and they're here today and gone tomorrow.
Yep.
So let's talk about when you guys just, okay, we're going to partner up. How did you define the roles? How did some of that come about?
Okay, so how I look at when I go into business or do business or whatever else, I look at what the strengths are and then evaluate from there. Strengths, personalities, how we interact with each other, stuff like that. So the biggest thing is that when you go into business with somebody, you got to be humble. You can't go in and think that everything that you come up with is right. If you do, that's going to be a recipe for disaster if you got a business partner. So our dynamic is basically Maurice has been in the business all his life. Mm-hmm. I've been on the other side of the bar. I'd never been behind the bar, so I know how to drink. I know how to do all that good stuff. But right, exactly. But you got to be willing to learn, especially if you don't know. Like, just like if like a lot of the techie stuff that's in the bar, Reese doesn't even think twice about it. Hey, E, can you get this together? What are we going? How can we do this? How can we make this happen? Nice. So that's our, it's not my primary role, but that's just how we operate. And so with his strength is he's been in the bar business for all his life. Then it makes sense that he works in operations and the operation side of it. Now, since I've been a customer, then I know what I like and don't like. So I come to the table and tell him, like, look, this, hey, we can't do this because all these other bars do this. Let's make this a little bit different. Let's appeal to this. So if you kind of that's why people really didn't know that I was part owner, because I go in, I don't go in with my chest out and like, hey, yeah, I'm the owner. I go and sit at the bar, sit there, make sure everything looks good, and then check the numbers, make sure we're hitting the right numbers that we're setting to hit and stuff like that. And then I go about my business. I don't need to be patted on the back or anything like that. And that just works. Everybody knows Reese. They don't know me, which, I'm good with, because I'd rather just sit there in my little corner and watch the sports on TV and have a few drinks. So if you think about the dynamic, you can think of, if you try to put labels, you can look at me more like a CFO and Reese as a COO, and that works just fine, so.
Yeah, and I think having clearly defined roles in business with partnership makes so much sense.
Absolutely.
Because everybody can bring what they bring to the table, and you don't have to get in each other's way. You can say what it is that you feel should happen, but at the end of the day, bro, you are responsible for operations. If you say Michelle's daughter is a good server, then we're going to keep her on. If she's not, then we don't have to give her food, right? So I think I love that but I want you to talk a little bit about the opportunities for us in nightlife, because one thing we don't typically do, and you have a unique perspective, especially one as the numbers guy and looking at all of these things, right? We will want to get into a business like nightlife and say, the only way I can get in is if I own a club, right? If I own a spot. But talk about how many vendors you guys deal with, where these are other lanes and avenues that if I owned maybe the distribution business for the hookah that you guys serve, right? There's a lot of different things that you guys need to run your business, and there's very few of us in those roles either. So talk about the opportunities for us to be in this nightlife scene without necessarily having to own a club.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, and once, this is what I even learned, is that once you're in owning a club or in a bar or whatever, there's vendors that come and approach you. But the thing is that these vendors that approach you must understand that, you're providing a service, and you also got to take care of the percentage of what the owner of the building has as well, if that makes sense. So so it's not like you can go into a mall and just open up a store and not pay rent, that type of thing. We do have those vendors that come in and then they want to get upset with us, but because they don't want to pay anything, but they want to make money. So, but once you get past that, and the vendors, like you said, the hookahs, we have a young lady that comes in on the weekends and does hookahs, and she has her crew, and she does really well, and customer service is great. She's on top of everything. So that's the vendor we really like to have in our business. And we're expanding to, we lease out the kitchen, so we don't have that overhead of the food expense, but we lease it out. And then we're also doing some in-house wine stuff. We got our own wine guy now that's coming on board, and it's the same thing. He's going to sell his product out of our building, but he's going to pay that fee of being in that area, but it's helping him to grow. We're not taxing his pockets or anything like that. We want him to succeed, because if he succeeds, then we succeed, because you got more people coming back in, especially when we have a special day for wine, like our Wine Down Wednesdays. So, so we got that in place. So we got an in-house wine guy. He's making money. He's selling bottles, and, we're making money as well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, about the wine guy. That's a really interesting concept, because it's St. Louis made. Like this guy, let's blow him up a little bit. I don't know his name.
Sure.
But when I heard about it, because my daughter was like, "Mom, we got a wine guy and he makes his own wine." First thing black folks think, y'all selling Ripple? Who's the wine guy? Francie Stanford? Who's making the wine? But I had an opportunity to come here recently and taste the wine, and it is phenomenal. It is. Yeah. I'm a connoisseur, and it was very, very tasty. So kudos to you giving another black eye. I'm assuming the wine guy's black.
He's black. Him and his uncle. Yep.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, don't say the uncle. That do sound like Ripple. Damn. Okay. But hats off to you for giving the wine guy, him and his apprentice, an opportunity. Black-owned business. You don't see a lot of that in a business way. There's a lot of people that make their own liquor in the basement, but giving this opportunity to this gentleman to say, "Hey, put it in a bottle, slap a label on it. Let's be real," because you really are helping to possibly start another business. And I think that's big. I think so. Kudos to you guys for using those St. Louis black-owned vendors. That's big.
Yeah, definitely. And that's that concept of crab in a barrel. We got to move beyond that. And the thing is, it's really important that we have to understand that if you're trying to get into a place or trying to get in to do more, don't be headstrong. Don't come in and be somewhat humble. I'm not saying to come in and get walked over, but come in and understand that this is something that you're trying to grow yourself in as well. So if the owners like me and Marie say, don't like something or want something adjusted, then you have to make concessions to do that. And that's why I really like the wine guy, because he came in, he's like, "Look, hey, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna give away free bottles so they can understand and taste my product, and then we'll go from there." So he came in eager and wanting to do what he do. And now we got people that come in and be like, "Hey, do you have some more of this, that?" And, we're dealing with our distributors, and we have their wine. It's like, "Oh, okay, well, you know what? Give me a shot of Hennessy."
Right.
What do you mean? It's Saturday and you don't got the wine guy wine in here on Saturday? Right. Oh man, give me some hand dog. Man.
Right.
Forget it. I don't even want no wine no more.
Right.
like on life. You know, ruin my taste buds, Lou. I don't even want no wine no more, man. Give me some Hennessy.
Right.
But that is so key that we don't understand the power in strategic partnership.
Yes.
Like this guy needs a storefront to be taken seriously as a wine guy. And you guys offer that. Yep. He pays to be in the spot. He's being exposed to your customers. He's bringing you guys new customers. And when he's not there, you guys have his wine to pour up by the glass. Like, we don't understand that. And this is how we build businesses that are sustainable, because now your lease overhead on your building gets reduced because you're offering that space to somebody. I know so many, even before COVID, Black-owned restaurants. I would go in and they got this big old space, but then they got the chairs up on the tables because you can't sit down in there because they don't have staff to staff it. But I'm like, you don't know nobody else in business that could pay you a couple $100 a month to utilize this space that you ain't using to help you cover your rent. And it's like, but we don't see those opportunities. I don't know if that's a lack of vision on the owner. So kudos to you guys for having that type of vision. Or is it just, nah, I ain't gonna help nobody else out? So we talked about your dynamic. We talked about you guys staying packed all the time, man. What is it that you guys are looking to do in the near future, man? Is this a sip spot, north, south, east, and west? You expanding locations, or what's on the horizon for you guys?
Let's see. I guess a few things. One is the patio. We're going to expand the patio and get that ready for the summer. We're going to, if you've ever been to like Fast Eddie's, we're going to do something along those lines. Nice. Make that outside. We're going to have a stage back there, so it got a lot of music. We're not held by any noise ordinance, so we can have bands out there and do whatnot. Then we're wanting to get that we call it the party room, which is that separate back room. We're going to change that around. We've just put a bar back there, so we're going to get that, and that's going to be like a chill spot where you can have different types of chairs back there. You can just kind of sit back and relax. We're going to have a TV back there so you can see what's going on up front with the and everything. Then downstairs is where that's going to be late this summer. We're going to start working on finishing that and get that together so we can have that's where the private parties are going to be at down there for people who want to rent out that space and whatnot. And we do have some other announcements that's going to come up. I don't want to mention those just yet, but I want to at least brief the staff so they know before it's out in the atmosphere. But me and Reese we always had a goal. Like I said, we're not a 2-year bar. So we had a goal, an aggressive goal. We got something pretty big that's coming up, and it's going to be announced probably in about a month or two.
I love one of the things that I see and can foresee for you guys that we are missing is, like you said, we're not a 2-year bar. We don't think of our businesses when we're small long term in terms of becoming institutions. Like, this could be a thing. And I think sometimes we start businesses like, hey, I'm gonna make enough money for me and my family. No, I need to make a business that's going to be able to hire people and make an impact in our community and make me a ton of money, right? And it sounds like that's what you guys are thinking. Like, go ahead.
Right. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's it's the goal to make money if you got to run a business because you got bills to pay. So you need to make money. And sustainability, you got to have that because you look around, you look at these places, you look at places like Show Me's, Hooters, places like that. They all started off in one spot where they were doing one thing. They're kind of niche bars, but you see what happened. They're across the country. We went in. We're not thinking about being a niche bar, but we're just being a bar for a good time. That's really what it comes down to, having a good, safe time. So we have those aspirations to do that as well.
Yeah, I love that. And that's what I mean by building institutions that says, no, this becomes I always think about Martin, right? When the Black Theater was about to close, right? But because it had become an institution in the community wouldn't let it die. right? And sometimes because we don't connect our businesses to the community, then that mug will shrivel up and down the vine, and the community don't give two rat's tips about you because you ain't connected. So what are you guys doing to connect the business to the community?
So we are going to be looking at doing stuff for like the traditional stuff. We're going to start doing, since this is our first, it'll be our first full year. But when school rolls around, we will be looking to do the backpack things, for kids that, free backpacks and school supplies, stuff like that, and as well as pop-up shops to try to get, the individuals that want to do something, but trying to get their stuff started, and that's a good way to do it. So we're going to open up the parking lot, the inside, do pop-up shops. We had a trial run of that already, and it was really successful. So we're just going to expand that even more. Of course, we're going to try to get some barbers in to come in for haircuts and stuff like that. To let everyone know, hey, here we are. Come in. This is not just us. This is you guys too.
Yeah. That's good. I have a petty question to ask since we're near the end of the show. Why not? Okay. I noticed that when I'm in there, you guys are gaining customers from other well-known establishments.
Oh boy.
How I ain't said no names. I frequent everywhere. But I noticed now I'm there because I'm a mom first. I'm gonna support my child. So I'm that mom that do show up on the scene. And she don't mind. She'd be like, that's my mama. Shh, I'm just sister in public. Stop it. But so I'm there for those reasons. But I see people from other establishments come in droves. How, what's a thought? I jokingly said petty, but, let's be honest here. What's a thought when you see, okay, Dad, we pulling so-and-so's crowd? Whew. What's a feeling like? Do you want to what motivates behind that? Do you have a thought of, oh yeah, I want to keep, pulling, or is it that, just keep doing business, the people, because you kind of like the Pied Piper. I'd have seen some of everybody in that joint. And you guys your place is huge, but you guys have gained a really, really large fan base quickly, so what goes through your mind when you see some of those other people come through and that they used to be at the other spot?
So, it's like this. It's we're all in business doing different things. You have to keep on evolving. So we're not, so people coming to us, I know we're kind of the new spot or whatever, but we're getting staying customers. So that are coming in and coming from other places. And we're not trying to take anybody's business, but we're trying to entertain whomever comes through the door in the best way we can. And if that requires us to, if we're doing something right, well, the other businesses they got to step up too, because this is not a fight with me, us and other businesses, other Black businesses. This is us with other businesses, period. Trying to keep this going. So, but on the flip side, Maurice and myself, we go to other bars too. We go and support those other bars. My thing is I always say, if I go into my place, I got to work. I like to, so if I go in, you know how it is when I'm in there, they're like, hey, can you come back and can you get this? Can you run and get this?
Man, he be behind the bar and bless his little heart. You be working. You be like, but you be back there.
He's making drinks all wrong.
Oh, exactly. but my drinks may be wrong, but they are strong.
They are. I fell off my bar stool. Hey, whoa! Can I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another?
I asked for a fruity pebble. Ain't nothing fruity about this. This straight vodka, dude. What's up? Like, hey, I'm just trying to get you there.
Right. Get to this. I'm a drinker. That's what happened when you let a drinker be a bar. That's why I never bartended, because I'm a drinker. I'm a pour you like I drink. You probably don't want that. You probably don't want that. But that, you know what? I love that answer. That was a great answer. It wasn't petty. You passed the test. That was a great answer. You're in business, and other businesses step your game up, or you're going to give back the love. We're going to go and patronize and go to other places, and I think that's big. I admire what you guys are doing.
That's the benefit, though, of doing good business. It seems like they just are focused on just doing good business.
Doing good business.
Come to our spot, you're going to have a good time, and we're going to make sure that we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that the environment is clean, it's safe, the drinks are still, the staff is courteous, and you're going to have a good time. That's like when you do good business, the word gets out, period.
Yeah.
Right. and
I think that's what's happening.
Good. I love it. So we are at the top of the hour, bro. Tell everybody how they can connect with you, and any specials you guys got going on for the rest of the week that might entice someone who's never been there to come hang out with you guys.
Sure. So we have our website is www.sipsociety.net. You can get information there. We're improving the site, so FYI there. But also,
I got it.
Okay, Facebook group is where a lot of our information is. Let me see. Tuesday we have actually I don't know
karaoke.
That's right. Karaoke
with Rick Lewis. Who be in the spot? Karaoke with Rick Lewis.
Right. Yeah, karaoke on Tuesday. Wednesday, of course, wind down Wednesday. Thursday we have typically have live bands on Tuesdays. On Thursday, sorry. And Friday, Saturdays, kind of, hey, it's time for the weekend. So y'all come and hang out. Sunday, we're trying to do we have a band, blues band every other Sunday, or is it every other Saturday? It's been moving around, so we've been trying to keep it hopping. But on Sunday we do have brunch. I think I don't know if that's every Sunday yet. We haven't.
Once a month.
Yeah, once a month.
I'm sorry, y'all business.
No, that's fine. And then Mondays we have DJ and stuff like that on Mondays and whatnot. So
I love that. And give them the address real quick.
Yes.
11750 Missouri Bottoms, Hazelwood, behind the airport. That's the best way to find it. Got easy access to either highway, so we have had no issues with police as far as stopping anybody, anything like that. They have, told us as long as everything is copacetic, we're not going to bother you. So,
did y'all hear that? You might have to run that one back.
Right.
You can come out and have a good time, and you don't have to worry about getting harassed by the cops, because that's a big thing for us, especially in the county. I'm not driving out there because I know as soon as I leave, they're gonna pull me over, because that's just So I love that you guys have created that connection with law enforcement to say, hey, here's who we are, this is what we do, we're here to stay, but we're going to be an example of excellence in business in the community. So if you're not harassing any of your other bars, don't expect to come harass mine because we Black, right? So I love it. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Michelle, final word? Because it's obvious that this is your new Sugar Shack, right? We know Michelle Sugar Shacks all over the city, but the lineup for the week, the karaoke host name, like, okay.
I love St. Louis entertainment. I love good business, and I think Eric, you and I had that conversation briefly once. I love to support good business, and I like the way you guys are doing things. And my daughter, as long as my kid is happy, I'm happy, and she's happy there. She absolutely adores working for you and Maurice, and it makes me a happy mom because she's evolving and she's growing. She be petty at times, and I apologize in advance, but she's growing. So I just go support the Sip Spot. It's a great place to be. It's a great time.
All right. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're out here till we talk to you next time. We want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you.